Lord, is this the life you want us to live? There is no business on planet Earth that will give you 30% return in 3 days. If money is evil, if money is bad, why would I want more of it? Wealth is the ability to share God's abundance. At the end of the day, when I face God, He's going to ask me, did you love with your money?
Welcome back to WealthWise. This is the second episode, and today's guest is someone who's very close to my journey and to my heart. He is a mentor to millions, a best-selling author, entrepreneur, and a man of deep faith. None other than Brother Bo Sanchez. He is so special to me. That's why we're here at Centro Holistico bringing this conversation to life in a very unique way. But more than that, this is not just an ordinary conversation. It's a dialogue that talks about scarcity to stewardship and building wealth with purpose. Now let's get into it. Hi, Brother Bo.
Yay, so good.
Thanks for, saying yes to me.
No problem. My pleasure.
You are one of the people that, why I'm in this industry right now and why I'm, pursuing this is that you actually have made me aware of my calling. And that's something that is really, if not for you, I'm not going to be in the stock market industry. So you have helped me so much in finding my calling.
Thank you. Wow, that's awesome to hear. That's beautiful.
You have done so much, and not just in the industry, not just in the the feast, but also even the people that are not attending it. I've been a witness.
Thank you. So grateful.
So, Brother Bo, these probably questions that I'm gonna ask you right now, I probably have not been asked so far. But before you are a writer, you are a business owner. The movement that you're building. Who were you growing up? Who was Brother Bo growing up, and what shaped you on how you think of money and life?
Yeah, so typical kid growing up we were 6 in the family, so that made money tight, and sending 6 kids to school. So my parents, my mother was a housewife, and then my father was the only one working. So I remember I had 50 centavos as my daily allowance. So I'm an old guy, semi-old. and then I had classmates who would, I remember going to the canteen and I'd say, Coke, please. Magkano Coke? And then he'll say 60 centavos. 60, 50. Chippy. So there was this little snack and the chips, and she said 60 ulit. 60 na naman. Wala bang 50? Anong kasya sa 50? So I remember it was a biscuit, that they were offering, and then all of a sudden my classmate comes with starts buying everything in the store. It's almost like, how much is your daily allowance? Baon magkano? Sabi niya, 5 pesos. 5 pesos,
Wow.
50 lang ako. So immediately I sensed that, okay, we're not really that rich. But maybe those were my early experiences.
Did you think that money was really hard during that time when you saw that in your situation versus on your classmate situation?
Yeah. I think also my mom had a poverty mindset that, of course, I didn't know it was.
Of course,
it was like in hindsight only.
Yeah.
Like I remember very vividly. I was a kid and she was going to buy me new shoes for school. So we went to the department store, and then while we were walking, may nakita akong bagong sapatos na parang it was in a plastic transparent box of some sort. And then I was walking there and I saw it and I said, Mom, this is nice. and she averted my eyes. She closed my eyes and she said, "Wag yan. That is very expensive. We cannot afford that. And there were many instances that occurred. So kind of like drilled into me na hindi para sa atin yan, para sa mga mayayaman yan. So in other words, mahirap tayo. So let's stay within our lane. And so there.
Wow. For a kid, how did you feel when you heard your mom say that?
Nothing. It's just I just took it as
it is.
As it is. This was reality. This was my truth, and that's okay. I did not complain. I did not like grumble. No, it was
With
it's okay.
with that in mind, Brother Bo, what did money represent to you in your early days? Like, is it a responsibility? Is it freedom? Is it security?
It was something that I didn't have, and it was something that other people had, and it's okay. This is who I am. This is
But
I'm
there's no.
poor, and not really that poor because I kind of like saw may mga tao doon walang bahay.
Yeah.
Ako may bahay kami. So I mean, it was I was happy.
But there's no feeling of lack. No.
There was no feeling of lack because there was love. My parents loved me. My sisters, we even if we fought, we're okay. So yeah.
And Brother Bo, you are known as a man of faith, and but faith also requires discipline and action.
Yeah.
How did you learn to balance trusting God and with doing what you're doing right now with your work?
I think my mom and my dad they really were people of faith. They were religious. They would go to mass every day. We would pray the rosary every night. So I knew they were people of faith, but I also saw how practical, how pragmatic they were. My dad would always tell me, if you're gonna do something, Bo, do it with all your heart. Like give your best. Like he would always drill that on me. So I said, so you can be a person who trusts God, but you should also be a person of action. And so that was a good role model.
Nice. It was a nice balance. And
Yes.
early in your journey, Brother Bo, what did success look like to you? And how was the definition change when, in your state right now?
So I came to know Jesus when I was 12. I started preaching when I was 13, started serving the poorest of the poor, just gave my life to God as a young single missionary. So, and to this day, I still call myself a missionary. So if you're going to ask me what changed in my definition of success, nothing, because at its core, I still believe success is about doing what God wants you to do. And it's still about the mission. However, what changed, I guess, is the appearance. So my vision for the first 18 years of my life is I'm going to be, my picture of success is serving God, sharing God's love to others, and being a single missionary who does not own anything, who lives with the poor, because I was doing that sporadically. And then I transitioned when I got married. And so I've been married for 27 years now. So I'm still a missionary, but I'm a husband, I'm a father, I have 2 businesses, plus a few other income streams, and God has prospered the work of my hands. I'm able to give more. So it just looks different. But at its core, it's the same.
I love working with Culture Salon because I don't have to compromise. They're intentional about using natural, safer ingredients that care for your hair long term. Grateful that they made this look possible. Hair and makeup located in Culture Salon Active Fund Building, BGC. Now back to the video. You were focusing on your mission in the early years.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you, Brother Bo, the turning point of this. When did you finally realize I need to do something with my wealth and my finances? Because, this is the way that I should do it.
That's right. Well, 3 things happened. Number 1 was I was with a bunch of friends we were all serving the Lord full time, like We didn't have jobs. We were just serving God. And then the community, the feast, we would receive a small allowance. And I remember at that time, my first allowance was 800 pesos. And I was happy. I was so happy as a single missionary, I was poor. There were times I kulang yung pera. But, you kind of like say, Lord, give me money. My problem was that I had friends. We were serving together. And they were married. And they had kids. And they would come up to me regularly, like, Brother Bo, I think my daughter will miss school this year kasi wala kaming tuition. Or, Brother Bo, yung nanay ko nasa ospital, okay na sana. Hindi namin mailabas kasi we could not pay the bill. These are missionaries. These are people who are so wonderful, so God-focused and prayerful, and they're my dear, dear friends. It was so painful to see them that way on a constant basis. Like I went to God and I said, Lord, is this the life you want us to live? I mean, I'm okay. I'm single, but not them. So that was tearing me apart. The second thing was every time I preached, there would be this group of people who would ask for prayer. And half of the time, these hundreds of people that I would meet on a constant basis, half of them, their problems are money. Brother Bo, please pray for me. Please pray for my finances. Please pray for my debts. Please pray. And I'm there and I'm praying for them and I can't even give one single advice because I knew nothing about money. So that was number 2. And the third thing that changed me, moved me, was I decided to get married at the age of 32. And so the year before that, 2 years before that, I said, I don't want to be like my friends who are serving the Lord and they always have no money. I had a dream, and my dream was, gusto ko pag nag-serve ako sa Panginoon, hindi ko na iisipin yung pera. I want to reach that point where money will no longer be an issue because it's there. There's lots of it, and I can focus on loving God, serving God's people. So that was my dream, my vision. So those are the 3 things that kind of moved me to a new perspective.
And how did you start the first step?
I decided to start a business and it failed, and then started another one and it failed some more, and I kept on failing. One small business after another. I learned how to invest also, and went into a scam. I thought, this was 27 years ago. Fell into a scam. So I learned through pain and failure what to do and what not to do.
Brother Bo, we are also a victim of a bad investment decision as a family. Why do you think Filipinos are we're really attracted to these things? I mean, what do you think? Like so far, you have also been there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
What do you think made, because I was also a victim of it.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the appeal of
Yeah.
that to the Filipinos?
It's very human. Nagmamadali tayo. And because can you imagine 27 years ago, the scam that I fell, it was even very tame. Yung pangako nila, 2% a month. I mean, nowadays, you get scams where they promise you 10% a month, 20% a month. The last one that I got, yung scam na ino-offer sa isang tao na they just told me, Brother Bo, okay ba to? Ano yan? Ibigay ko daw yung pera sa kanya, 10,000 pesos. In 3 days, magiging 30,000.
Wow.
So I was just saying, can you just listen to yourself? Paki-replay mo yung sinabi mo.
Oh my God.
And understand that this is insane,
Yes.
There is no business on planet Earth that will give you 30% return in 3 days.
Oh my goodness.
Pero naniniwala tayo, bukas tayo, we get attracted because we want fast money. Nagmamadali tayo. So that's our we don't have the patience. We don't have the patience to invest na konting-konti lang yung growth, but over time, that's where you build your wealth.
And Brother Bo, with that turning point and with that learning, what did you unlearn? What is it that you needed to unlearn in order for you to, prosper more?
Yeah. So first things first, I had to unlearn that money is evil. I had to unlearn that rich people are crooks and smugglers and corrupt. I had to unlearn that business is bad for people who are far from God. I just had to unlearn all these subconscious beliefs that were preventing me. You know, if money is evil, if money is bad, why would I want more of it? You know, no, so there's this subconscious um, sabotaging. Like pag dumadami na yung pera natin, because of
Masama
that
na.
subconscious belief, teka muna, parang, hindi dapat, you know. So I had to unlearn all of that, and I had to unlearn other things as well.
How do you ground yourself? Because I've seen you. I mean, I've seen you, and I'm a testament that how well grounded you are, how down to earth you are. Over the years, you never change. And sometimes I think, how do you ground yourself, Brother Bo?
Yeah, it's. I want to thank God. I have a wonderful community around me. No man is an island, and so I've got the feast, and I've got friends there, my fellow missionaries, my fellow leaders who just it's amazing when you put it this way. If I was all alone, and I know some religious leaders are just all alone on top of their mountain, and everybody says yes to them. I'm scared. I'm scared for people like that. I thank God that I've got people who are older than me, who are more mature than me, who can tell me, if I'm wrong. The second thing, I guess, is I've got a wonderful family. I made a decision to be committed to my family, my wife, my children. That has been my sisters. They're always there, and their families. I think the third thing that has blessed me a lot is generosity. Constantly saying, look, the singular purpose of wealth is to love others. That's the purpose. That's the essence. That's the definition of money. Money is a blessing for others, and I'm supposed to be a channel of that blessing. So when you start earning, not so that you can have luxury cars and a big mansion. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's wrong with something. It's just that it's not what money is supposed to be for. I mean, sure, have a little bit of that, but if you want, if that's your thing, it's not my thing. But I put, if I want to enjoy, I'll ride my bike. I'll drink the expensive coffee of my son. I mean, yes, I've got those little pleasures here and there, luxuries here and there. But at the end of the day, when I face God, He's going to ask me, did you love with your money?
Brother Bo, you mentioned about being a leader that is lonely up there, and I always repel that thought that if you are the people, if you're the person on top of the pyramid, you'll be lonely up there.
Oh yeah.
How do you comprehend that? Because I actually repel it as long as you know how to treat people right.
Yeah.
I mean, do you also subscribe to that? Because how do you react in that term that if you're a leader and you are always lonely up there?
Yeah, I've been the leader for the
your
longest time,
business,
45 years, in the community and then businesses and all of that. I have a commitment. My commitment is relationships first before revenue, people before profit, and that's been a principle that my parents taught me, and I want to thank God for that. And if you have that, then you will not be lonely on top. You will say, no, people come first. And so you don't look at people as numbers. You don't look at people as, tools, instruments to your goals. You don't want that. That will make you lonely.
Thank you, Brother Bo. In terms of when you say wealth, how do you define wealth? This is WealthWise. This is how I view it. In terms of you defining wealth, what is the composition of it?
For me, at the end of the day, wealth is the ability to share God's abundance to others. One sentence. And that for me is wealth. And why? Because abundance is not just material things. Abundance is God's love, relationships, first of all, and all of that. And then, yes, having enough for your own physical needs, for your family's needs. So, but where should that all end up? It should end up with abundance being shared. So that for me is wealth.
Before we continue, we always talk about health and wealth here in WealthWise. And today, we're gonna do an IV drip session with Brother Bo here at Centro Holistico. Most people don't realize that when you're taking vitamins orally, most of the time, especially if it's synthetic vitamin C, only 5% of that is gonna be absorbed by the body. With IV drips, it will be directly to your bloodstream. Of course, guided by Doc Candy and Doc Ryan because they're the expert. And as for Brother Bo, it's all about his energy and maintaining that energy. And why don't you try it yourself? This is a very unique way. Hindi mo naman kailangan na daily. It's just once in a while you have to do this IV drips. Now, back to the video. Tito Bo, so talking about being the holistic of being wealthy. And part of it is actually being healthy.
Yeah.
And that's why we are here at Centro Holistico. It's actually to
Thank you.
I know you're a person who is really should I say it for the lack of better term, health freak. Yeah, you really like health and natural way of being healthy.
Yes.
I remember I learned from you the calamansi. and I really, I did that, and it actually relieved my my allergies in the morning.
Wow.
And I remember also you telling us about you have reversed your grade, your eye grade. Can you tell us about that story?
I like experimenting. So when I read some new way of doing things that, well, not new, but kind of like natural ways of feeling better, being better. That was one of them. I was reading a book and it said you can do some eye exercises and see if your eyesight will be better. Usually it's just exhaustion or really tiredness and so on. So and it did. I felt that kasi mababa naman yung eye grade ko nung panahon na yun. So it was okay.
Parang what do you call that? Naagapan.
Yes.
And because of that, actually, Doc Candy and Doc Ryan has given us a chance to have and try their cocktail drips. Because you're healthy na, like just like longevity and sustaining your immune system. How do you make sure that you are, you're taking in the right vitamins? How do you take care of your health, basically?
Yeah, so I think first of all, you go through, look at the basics. So do you have enough sleep? What's the quality of your sleep? I really work on that. That for me is a priority. It's almost like the foundation. And then after that, I look at movement. So am I exercising enough every day? So I need to, especially at my age, I need to build my muscles or else I will atrophy. People lose 1.5 muscle mass every year, starting the age of 40 something. I mean, I forgot the exact age, but that's scary when you think. That's why a lot of old people they have falls. They fall, they break their hip, they break their whatever, and then
they lose their muscle.
And then after that, it just goes downhill from there. So to prevent that, you've got to build muscle. Aside from cardio, aside from walking, aside from, you need to just keep on building your muscle. So that for me is very important. Sleep, movement, and then of course what we eat.
And today our vitamins. So we can ask them.
Thank you for inviting me here. What a gift.
This is going to be the first time that you're going to have an interview while doing the drip.
Yeah. And of course, I've just read about this. I've never had it, so this is pretty cool.
Yeah, you'll tell us how did you feel afterwards.
Yeah.
So these are.
I mean, I do take supplements, but more of the pill form, like vitamin D and C and stuff like that. Magnesium. Yeah. Thank you.
Are you afraid of needles, Brother Bo?
No.
Because for Brother Bo, wealth is not just about money. It's also about how you take care of your life, your health, and the calling God entrusted to you. All right, so now we're back. We thank you for the Centro Holistico team to this that
Thank
who
you.
set up this drips for us. I think we had for the boosting of the immune system, and for mine, it's more of the immunity. I think so. Going back to our conversation, Tito Bo, when it comes to wellness, how do you make sure that even to in your household that you are practicing healthy living, you how like the in the way you eat when you eat outside, how do you maintain that?
Oh, with a lot of difficulty. Like at home, at least my wife sees to it that we eat as much as possible. At the end of the day, in terms of like food, I always tell people eat real food. So as much as possible, avoid processed. And that's difficult, especially if you eat out, the kind of oils that they use and the kind of ingredients that they use, so just be a little bit more picky when you eat out. But definitely at home, see to it that when you go to the grocery, you pick real food and that you avoid buying. Because if it's not there, let's say if you don't have junk food, in your pantry, then at least you don't like, when you're hungry, you don't
Yes,
pick
it's
it
not
up.
easy. Yeah.
It's not, you have to go to a store or something. Let's say you're craving for something, but it's not there. Oh, you have to go to the store. But then if there's something that's healthier at home, then maybe that's what you will reach for.
In terms of cooking, Brother Bo, who cooks at home?
I wish I could say me, but no, no. My wife can cook, but
Is there some?
through the years we just assign that to someone else, our staff. And, she's just a great cook. And
Are you a vegetarian, Brother Bo? Do you
so
practice
I've been a pescatarian,
pescatarian?
for 30 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
So-
never crave.
Yeah, no, I don't know why, but I'm okay with fish and vegetables. Yeah.
And does the same practice apply to like your kids?
No, I let my kids eat whatever they want. But as long as it's real food, avoid the processed food. And so they kind of like are gravitate towards that.
And talking about kids, Brother Boy, recently Bene got married.
Yes!
How did you feel?
I have now a daughter.
Oh my God! How did you feel? You were the groomsman, the groom's father rather.
Yeah.
On the altar. How did you feel about that?
Oh, that was amazing. That and it's kind of young, at this age, 25.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
25 when he got married, and but he's always known what he wants in life, and he said, "Yeah, I'm ready, I'm prepared," and I saw that. So both of them, husband and wife, I felt great just looking at that and saying, "Wow, life moves so quickly, and yet beautiful victories."
When he was walking in the aisle, what was the emotion?
Emotion of joy, gratitude, a lot of, Lord, what a privilege to even witness this.
Yeah, because not everyone did.
Yeah.
In terms of like family, Brother Bo, what daily practice that keeps you grounded when the responsibility is so heavy?
I believe that we have two kinds of lives, the public life and the private life. And so for many people, it's the public life that sucks in all our energy, our time, and attention. Why? Because that's where we get paid. That's where we get social reputation and the acceptance of the crowd and all of that. But I will always encourage everyone to focus on the second life, which is our private life. The private life is who you are when no one is looking, who you are when no one is watching, and that's your character, that's your values, and that's your spiritual life. So I've tried my best, with a lot of failure. I've tried my best to nurture my private life. It's true. There is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of temptation, a lot of responsibilities, lots of the urgency. The noise of the urgent is so compelling. But every morning I just make a decision and say, no, focus on my private life, because if that's strong, then I'm okay.
Was there a time that it was difficult for you to pray?
When I have when I go through my trials, when I go through my crisis, of course it's more difficult to pray. But yeah, just pray anyway, whether you feel like it or not. That's a lesson I've learned through all these years.
A lot of us will like look into you whenever we have struggles and see your videos, and be have that kind of hope that the words that you're speaking of which is like a blessing to other people. Do you remember a time when you are also blessed that way, that someone has given you that words that truly change your life?
Many times, I've got mentors. So I've got financial mentors, I've got spiritual mentors, and I've got people who I just look up to. And I regularly meet them. Like, I think my posture is, I need inspiration as much as the next person beside me. There's nothing special about me. So I regularly meet them, and yeah, there were these beautiful moments when just a simple word from someone just gives me the direction, gives me clarity, and I'm able to make better decisions.
And talking about decisions, and you've mentioned about financial mentors, do you still remember the first investment that you did?
Yeah, it was a tiny one. It was with at least a good one, a mutual fund.
Okay, you started building mutual fund first.
Yeah, so that's where I started.
And then what? And then from there, how many income streams have you developed over time?
So now I probably have 7 general ones. Yeah.
And when it comes to like making sure that you balance your income stream, and also the foundations that you have, like from womb to tomb, how do you stay that cash flow balance when it comes to like the people that your outflow, which is your foundation, and your inflow, which is your businesses?
Yeah. So what I've done, and at least this is what works for me now. So I've got 7 income streams. 3 of them are dedicated to mission ministry. So for example, I'm paid royalties as an author. I've written about 80 books. So those 80 books, every month they generate royalty for the author. So I dedicate 100% for that. Corporations, companies invite me to speak. So I'm able to give 100% of that to the mission. So I've got these things that I lead pilgrimages every year, once, twice, Holy Land. This coming February, we're going to go back to the Holy Land finally after the war. And then March, we're going to go to Guadalupe in Mexico.
Wow.
So I'm leading these pilgrimages. And then also, whatever I earn from that will also be donated. So I'm able to kind of like balance it. Okay, I've got some income streams that will go to put food on the table. Thanks be to God, I've got these income streams. I've got these other income streams that are dedicated to ministry.
And then when did you first encounter investing as a tool of growth, and how early were you exposed to it? Because I know you were already
Oh yeah, I was 32 years old when I got married. So that's when I started learning that, my first step to this whole financial growth that I'm experiencing right now after 20 plus years, it all starts by studying, to have the humility to say, I know nothing. Please teach me. And so reading books, talking to financial mentors, it was that. That was my first step.
And how did you align your investment in the values that you have, like growing up?
Yeah. So I want to thank God for the values of kindness, of humility, of loving the poor, and all of that. That helped me. And then when we developed the Truly Rich Club, our financial community that we coach, we teach people how to invest and what to invest in. That's our service to people. We will not recommend a stock or a company that does not follow ESG, environment. They care for the environment. This company is very good in social ethics. They care for their employees. That's very important. And number 3 would be governance. Again, ethics in governing their company.
Today, Brother Bo, how do you decide on where to place your money? Is it through the impact or returns?
I think both. You want both. Of course, returns. I mean, you want to grow your money, and so that is like, okay, it has to give returns. But then there's a second question, and does it destroy lives by promoting vices and all of that? Okay, oops, okay. And there are other opportunities that you could put your money in.
Brother Boy, you have influenced millions of people. And when you step back from the numbers and the reach, what part of your work feels the most meaningful to you now?
Yeah. At the end of the day, this, I don't know if this is an answer to that question, but if for me, what matters most is my marriage and my children. It's not my work. I understand your question is like, out of all the work that you do, what work? And I'd say my answer is it's not work. Because if it's just work, it's all the same for me. Whether it be preaching on stage or doing media work or doing our work for the poor in our ministries and our foundations. I mean, all of that is the same for me. Truly Rich Club, our homeschool community. We teach parents how to homeschool their kids.
Wow.
We've been doing it for 20 years. All of that is service, and I love doing it. And they're all the same for me. But what matters most for me is, am I a good husband? Am I a good father? Am I a good friend? There, that's me.
It's the foundation of who you are.
Yeah.
What kind of legacy do you hope that, with your choices today, that will leave Filipino families?
Yeah. So I want to bring people closer to God, definitely. I want to build great relationships, good families, and I want to teach people how to be great financial stewards. Filipinos, many of them are religious, many of them are kind, many of them, that's why we're wanted all over the world. We have the skills, and we're kind, and we're supposed to be honest despite all the corruption news that we have now. I think generally Filipinos are good people, and I just want to teach them how to be stewards of their finances so that they can do more good. We lack that desperately.
If there are going to be 3 wise tips that you're going to give us today to honor God, to take care of their families, to live with peace, what would they be? What would
Why don't I answer that question specifically on the area of finance, because it might, because you already said it. Love God, build your family. I mean, I would say those 3 same things, But if it comes to like growing their money, I would recommend 3 things. Number 1, develop an abundance mindset. Filipinos think small, look at themselves as poor, will always be poor. Itong tadhana ko, itong faith ko, ito talaga ako, this is my identity to be a poor person. We want to break that. And I encourage people to think of themselves as children of God, as blessings for others. And so that's number 1. Grow an abundance mindset. Number 2 is grow their income by growing themselves. If you want to grow your money, you've got to grow yourself. And that means learning. I just attended last week a seminar, 3 days. And I was the oldest in the room. But I loved it. It was about AI, by the way. So totally foreign, like 80% of the time I was totally lost, what are they talking about? But I will never stop learning. I will never stop growing myself. I will never stop upskilling. And I'm going to encourage that as a step 2 for everyone listening to us, that we need to keep on growing ourselves. Because we owe this to God. Who we are, that's a gift from God. And who we become, that's what we return to the Lord. The third thing is to grow our investments. We need to learn. We can't just depend on income. No matter how, even if you earn 1 million pesos a month, 2 million pesos a month, 10 million pesos a month, it will all disappear if you don't know how to invest. And so I will recommend that every Filipino will invest 20%, hopefully, of their income every month, whenever they receive their income. Let it grow.
I just have to say this, Brother Bo. I have a very popular client back in the day that when I ask her, she's really popular. She's a star in her days. When I ask her, how did you start and why did you start in the stock market investing? Did you know what she said? She said, because I read my maid invested in the stock market and why should you? She's a mega popular artist. If you know,
I'm happy.
what would you do if you're not working for money?
Um, I already am not working for money. So I've reached a point where I can actually stop all that I'm doing, my businesses, close it. Then my wife and I can just go to an island. You know, my kids are already, they're grown up. So I can actually stay in an island with my wife and just be in a hammock and sip my coconut juice. But I cannot and I will not, because God calls me to continue to serve. So I work for impact. I work for blessing people. And yeah, I can live on the interest of my investments. Live a simple life. I mean, I'm not saying I'll be ostentatious. No, I will live a simple life. But yeah, I will continue doing what I'm doing because it's not because of the money.
If you're gonna complete this sentence, Brother Bo, you can say you have a wealthy life if you are blank.
You can say you are wealthy if you are sharing God's abundance to others.
Thank you so much, Brother Bo.
Thank you.
This is my pleasure. I mean, thank you so much. I know that it's gonna touch a lot of people, and truly an honor to be with you today.
Thank you for an experience of being interviewed while having a tube attached to my arm.
This is gonna be unforgettable. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.